Alexandra Eala says how she deals with tough losses following Coco Gauff's racket smash controversy. Alexandra Eala fell to Camila Osorio in the quarterfinals of a home tournament at the Philippine Women's Open. The Filipina star was the second seed at the Manila event and the overwhelming crowd favorite to lift the title. Eala defeated Jimeno Sakatsum and Elena Chariva in Manila, but she had no answers for Osorio at Rizal Memorial Tennis Center. After her defeat, Eala was asked about the controversy surrounding Coco Gauff's racket-smashing controversy and how she lets off steam after tough defeats. Alexandra Eala responds when asked about Coco Gauff's racket smash. Eala and Gauff formed a doubles partnership at the 2025 Italian Open, and they have remained friends during her rise up the WTA Tour. Asked how she lets off steam compared to Gauff, Eala responded, "It's difficult. I think everyone has their own ways of coping, and for me personally it's not always the same for each loss. The way I cope, and I think a part of this journey is learning to be self-aware in terms of knowing what I need to do to kind of step back and regroup, because in the end in tennis you lose a lot and some losses are going to be more difficult than others. So it's something I guess you have to manage, and yeah, it's tough. And it's just different in every situation for me. I don't really have like a specific something that I do all the time. It's just very different each loss." Eala will next be in action at the Abu Dhabi Open, which begins on the 1st of February. Gauff's next tournament, meanwhile, looks set to be the Dubai Tennis Championships. Alexandra Eala calls the Philippine Women's Open a wake-up call. Eala's burst in popularity over the past year allowed the tour to act and give Manila its first WTA Tour event. The Manila tournament has been a resounding success, with both players and fans delighted with the event. Eala, however, believes more needs to be done off the back of the tournament to capitalize on the popularity of tennis in the Philippines. At her press conference, she said, "On top of tennis already not being such a popular sport here in the Philippines, I heard the other day that locally there are only 8 professional tournaments for men around the country and only 2 for women. So to have a WTA event here, like I said, is a great stepping stone and a wake-up call for the people who are able to help and do something about it. There's a lot of room for improvement, especially when there are only 2 professional tournaments for women." The event has seen several homegrown stars play their debut WTA Tour event alongside Eala. Facing the strings of defeat, Alexandra Eala on loss, growth, and tennis beyond the scoreboard. In the intense world of professional tennis, victories are measured in trophies and ranking points, but growth is forged in defeat. This truth resonates deeply with Alexandra Eala, the 20-year-old Filipino sensation whose courageous play and candid reflections on losses reveal a level of emotional maturity well beyond her years. Eala's perspective on dealing with tough losses, particularly against the backdrop of the recent Coco Gauff racket smash controversy at the 2026 Australian Open, provides a window into the inner life of an athlete navigating pressure, expectation, and the often overlooked psychological terrain of elite sports. The public drama, Coco Gauff and the emotional aftermath. Before delving into Eala's outlook, it's essential to understand the wider context that has overtly highlighted athlete emotions. At the 2026 Australian Open, American star Coco Gauff experienced a difficult quarterfinal loss to Elena Svitolina, culminating in a moment that quickly became the talk of the tennis world, Gauff smashing her racket in a backstage area. Though she intended the outburst to be private, cameras captured and broadcast the moment, sparking debate about player privacy and emotional expression in sports. Gauff later explained that releasing her frustration privately helped her avoid projecting it onto her team, and that such emotional moments are a natural part of dealing with competitive disappointment. This incident ignited discussions about how athletes cope with high-stakes losses. Some saw the racket smashing as raw authenticity. Others felt it reflected misplaced aggression. But importantly, it thrust into public view a reality athletes often grapple with away from the cameras: how to manage emotion when control slips and the stakes feel crushing. Alexandra Eala, a different lens on tough losses. Amid these broader conversations about athlete emotion, Alexandra Eala shared her own reflections on coping with losses. In a recent interview after her quarterfinal exit at the Philippine Women's Open, Eala acknowledged that losses in tennis, and in life, are inevitable and that handling them requires introspection, flexibility, and self-awareness rather than rigid formulas or impulsive reactions. "It's difficult," she said, emphasizing that each loss feels different, and the way she copes also varies. Instead of having a specific routine or immediate emotional release like smashing a racket, Eala believes the journey involves learning to understand her emotional needs in that moment. This approach mirrors the mental resilience often taught at high-performance academies, including the Rafa Nadal Academy where Eala trained, where athletes are encouraged to focus not only on technique but on mental processes that aid long-term growth. Support systems and self-reflection, the dual pillars of coping. Eala doesn't face defeat alone. She credits her support system, family, coaches, and fans, with softening the blow when outcomes don't go her way. The emotional cushion provided by support can ease pain, even as it heightens the expectation to succeed. Eala characterizes this duality thoughtfully. While support fuels a desire to perform well, it simultaneously makes losses sting just a bit more. This nuanced understanding shows why Eala doesn't seek a one-size-fits-all strategy for coping. Rather, she listens to her emotions, gauges what she needs in the moment, and creates space to regroup internally. Her self-awareness isn't about suppressing feelings. It's about managing them constructively, learning from the experience, and emerging stronger on the other side. Comparing emotional responses, Eala versus Gauff. When you contrast Eala's inner-centric processing with public moments like Gauff's racket smash, interesting differences emerge. Gauff's response, while entirely human, was an external release born of intense frustration and the heat of competition. It was, by her own admission, a coping mechanism, a physical expression of a mental need to let go of pent-up emotion so she wouldn't direct it toward her team. Eala's strategy is more introspective. Instead of an outward explosion, she turns inward, evaluates what the loss revealed about her current state, and focuses on adjustments needed for future challenges. Both approaches acknowledge that emotion is central to sporting performance, but they differ in expression and timing. Eala's method might not create viral moments, but it cultivates a steady psychological foundation that supports long-term growth.